3 questions. What in your lineage has held you back? Who do you want to forgive? What is made possible for your legacy by forgiving this person? It's day 4 of a leadership development retreat, and everyone I know who has been to this retreat says you will have a breakthrough. And the setting's right for it. It's spring 2015. I'm in the idyllic countryside of France. Wild French gardens are popping up all around us. Yoga sessions each morning. At the breakfast table, there's this juicy fresh fruit spread each morning. It's fancy. But I am determined to hold it together and prove that I belong here. You see, I'm the youngest of a group of business leaders and management consultants from around the globe. I am the only Black person, and I am one of 2 Latinas. And I'm 10 weeks pregnant, and no one knows it. So when it's day 4, and I've only cried once, I'm feeling great about myself. And then Amy. Amy is the lead facilitator of this entire retreat. She's about 5'2", maybe late 40s, and she's a mystic. So this evening, Amy leads us into a dark room. And when I say dark, I mean dark. All the lights are off, the curtains are all down. Amy's got a few candles on the ground to lead us to our spot where we're going to sit across from our partners. And my partner, we'll call him George. George is this tall German man, senior leader, business leader, and there's something tender about him, and I trust him. So Amy says, 3 questions. That's what we're going to discuss tonight. 1, what in your lineage has held you back? 2, who do you want to forgive? 3, what is made possible for your legacy by forgiving this person? I know exactly who I'm going to talk about. I look at George and I say, for the first time to someone who is not my therapist or not one of my 3 sisters, there were times in my childhood where I thought my dad would kill my mom. And I proceed to tell him some stories from my childhood, which was like a roller coaster, joy and terror side by side. And I tell him a story from when I was 8 years old. I say it was a sunny summer day in Jackson Heights, Queens, one of my favorite neighborhoods. And my mom comes to me in our tiny, cramped little apartment. And she says, let's go. Yes. I asked her, Mommy, are we going to leave him? No, mija. But we're going to go to the police station and we're going to file a domestic violence report. And it will be there for us for whenever we need it. I swallowed the disappointment and I spring into action. So for my 3 younger sisters, I grab tank tops and shorts and jelly sandals, and we get them dressed. We quickly walk to the police station, all 5 of us moving as fast as we can. We make the domestic violence report and we get back. And we are moving quickly because we need to be there before my father gets home from work and without a shred of evidence that we even left the house. Yes, we did it. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this year things will get better. And they don't. The next year, a little better. And the rest of my childhood proceeds in this unpredictable way. And I am living in fear. So tonight, on day 4 of the retreat, it is taking my entire being to get ready to forgive my dad. And I really mean my whole body. There's a tightness in my chest, a ring of fire around my heart, a lump in my throat. And then Amy asks, 2, who do you want to forgive? Mommy. What? What? No, 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 no. That was not what I was supposed to say. I look at George and say, and there's shame and shock plastered all across my face. And he looks at me and says, I get it. No, no, but you don't understand. My mom is my everything. She's the reason I got out of that house a nice, kind person. You see, my mom is the 3rd generation of firstborn daughters to be named Maria la Antigua, Maria the Ancient. And I am supposed to be the 4th generation. But I'm not Maria la Antigua. My father wouldn't let her name me that. And then Amy asks, 3, what is made possible for your legacy by forgiving this person? And I say to George, my mom tried so hard to break the cycle of abuse. And I want to start a cycle of self-worth through healing. Now, don't get me wrong. I had tried before to heal in fits and starts. But in the past, it had always come from a place of fear or erasure, trying to pretend like the past never happened or make it go away. But this time, I clutch my belly full of new life and new possibility, and I imagine what's possible. This time, I'm operating from a place of love. And what I imagine is more healing conversations. And this time, I have a blueprint. Part 1 of the blueprint: understand truth. It's summer 2015. I'm back from the retreat in France, and I'm sitting in my therapist Dolores' office. And I'm on the couch and I'm staring at that floor to ceiling wall of books, getting lost in title after title. I look down at my belly, which is huge at this point, and I say to Dolores, I need to understand my past so that I don't repeat it. And Dolores encourages me to turn hope into action. And so later that year, I invite my 3 amazing sisters to monthly sister brunches. And at these brunches, I want us to create new patterns, healthier relationships, new ways of operating with each other. And that takes some convincing. But luckily, no one can say no to mimosas in Brooklyn on a Sunday afternoon. And they say yes. And at our first sister brunch, mimosa in hand, I ask, what roles from your childhood are no longer serving you? And that brings me to part 2 of the blueprint. Let go of what no longer serves me. It's 2017, and I am letting go of shame and fear. Now, when I tell my story, I say I am a survivor of domestic violence. And this is huge for me. This change is so big that in 2019, I find myself on the phone with my father. And I'm talking to him about things that happened in our childhood, the impact that his actions had on me. And he says something like, well, you're not a liar. So I guess that happened, but I don't remember any of it. Cue Beyonce, you're only lying to yourself. And I played the whole damn Lemonade album on repeat for the rest of that year. Until finally, I let go of the bitterness and the disappointment and the resentment. And that brings me to part 3 of the blueprint. Make a new way. It's 2020, the pandemic is raging, and every morning I sit cross-legged on the ground and I connect with myself. And for the first time since I was 17 years old, I write poetry again. And that year, I leave my job and I start a new consultancy focused on organizational transformation, change leadership, and healing. You see, I used to think that forgiveness meant saying, what happened to me in the past was okay. I no longer think that. Last year, I heard Oprah say, forgiveness is when you give up the hope that the past could have been any different. So now, I no longer think of forgiveness as saying, that was okay. I let you off the hook. Now, I think of forgiveness as moving my energy away from trying to change the past or rewrite the past or make it go away, and instead putting my energy into understanding the past for all of its complexity, letting go of what no longer serves me from the past, and making a new way forward to be more whole and more healthy. So that is what I hope. My hope for you is that we can find a way to be more whole, and in the process, have a positive impact, not just on ourselves, but on those around us. Because even if you haven't been through domestic violence, what pain have you experienced? We are all hurting. As a nation, we have been through centuries of trauma. And in the last few years, really acute trauma, visible in our faces. So my hope is that what I am learning from healing from domestic violence in my family can serve as a hint as our nation learns to heal from the domestic violence that we have been through. My wish for you is more healing conversations. My wish for schools and families and teams is more hard but worth it healing conversations. And my wish for us as a nation is that we talk more about the process of healing. I'm Jen Wynn. I'm a professor of difficult conversations. I'm a first college graduate in my mom's family. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I am a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, a Black woman, and a Latina. And I am determined to find my way to liberation. Healing is an essential part of that journey. Come join me. Let's see what's possible through healing.